to thank our sponsors who made this workshop possible, the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture's Reckoning with Our Racial Past. And this is what we hope to achieve as we're bringing together leaders in our region to collaborate, to think, but to come up with tangible ways forward with collaboration. So I'm going to, and it's building on from our last session. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to pass it on to Janet. Okay.
Okay, welcome. As Alina has said, we only have an hour and a half. At the moment, we have less than an hour and a half. So my first request is that I have your permission to be a bit directive, just for an hour and a half. At the end of the hour and a half, I get all facilitative and democratic and that lovely stuff. But just for this hour and a half, allow me to just kind of push it along. Permission? Brilliant. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we want to pick up from where we were, or where you were in 2023, and, oh, I got it, oh, good. Part of what I want to do, being directive again, I'm gonna be directive, warning you, is I don't want you to hear my voice that much for the next hour and a half. So I'm going to start by asking for 3 volunteers to read what's on the slides. I just need 3 people. That's the first reading, that's the second one, and that's the third one. And it kind of sets us up for what we're doing. Okay, let's go, folks. 1. Thanks.
If we are to build alternative futures, if we are to build alternative futures, we must collectively untether from entrenched ideas and start from a very different foundation. Love it.
Thank you. Second reader, please.
Can I just, everyone has to talk in the mic if people are doing translations. Okay.
Okay. So collective imagination work is the soil upon which that foundation is built. It enables us, to engage with and embody different perspectives, weave together diverse perceptions and worldviews, and mobilize to take action.
Collective imagination is a multidisciplinary practice involving a group or community who come together to dream into, rehearse, and enact different possible futures. This has the potential to illuminate pathways forwards, as well as to unsettle the status quo.
Do you have a sense of the agenda for the next hour and a half? Disrupt. In order. Now, in concrete terms. Oh, sorry. In concrete terms, we would like to build on what you did in 2023 to generate some prototypes or models of practice, to develop some project sketches some projects that are actionable, to foster some collaborative thinking and networking among participants to strengthen regional ties, and to empower participants, or us all, to advocate for innovative approaches to museum engagement and heritage stewardship. So if we can accomplish that at the end of an hour and a half, we deserve to go for a nice big lunch, okay? Okay, so let's work on having lunch on time. Okay, so we start with introductions and overview, and that's what we're doing. Then I'm going to try to, and this is where I'm sorry, but you have to hear my voice, connect you with the listening session that you did in 2023. Then we're going to set up the group task. This is where it gets directive, where we do a bit of movement and walking around and get creative. And then the group tasks are a little playful. That's why we have Crazy 8s there. And then finally a presentation. So I've just kind of giving you a high-level sense of what it might be like going forward. Okay, this is important, I think. This is your feedback, that report from your 2023 listening project that Dr. Crystal Clay did with you. summarizing the report, and somebody else will summarize it, have a different outcome, but summarizing the report, this seems to be what came up. Regional world building aspirations, I entitled it, because world building suggests when we want to build another reality, so world building. Empowerment through community engagements, becoming dynamic hubs, fostering social change, promoting education, supporting sustainable development, develop collaborative networks for shared strength, establish interconnected networks, enhance cooperation, share resources, collective storytelling, stronger regional and global presence for Caribbean heritage and culture. And then what was very present in the report is generationally, future. How do you hand this on? How do you sustain this over time? Develop innovative strategies, engage future generations in cultural stewardship, use technology, creative storytelling, participatory practices, instill a sense of identity, pride, and belonging within and across diverse Caribbean communities. It was a long report, okay? It was a big report, but distilling it, those seem to be the main things. But then I noticed headwinds, tailwinds, crosswinds. Some winds take you where you want to go, some winds set you off course. So some of the things you noted in the report was the need for advocacy strategies, public relation campaigns, need to raise awareness about the significance of museums, challenges and opportunities, barriers like funding, poor government support, need for more collective engagement, while expressing a commitment to developing innovative data-driven strategies for sustainability. So you have those tensions sitting there. Then the actionable steps forward, it seemed to be that there's a collective will to continue going forward, multi-generational engagement, a strategic plan that will showcase unique contributions of Caribbean museums and reinforcing your role as change champions within your community. So this seems to be the kind of process issues. Those seem to be the kind of outcome issues. So that's how that divvies up. Okay. Now, one would like to take these today and think about some tasks that can emerge or projects that can emerge out of these, particularly the three. The empowerment through community engagement, the networks for shared strength, and the future forward stewardship of heritage, and work on those projects now and here. Not a discussion, some deliberation, but design. Okay, so three tasks that seem to drop out of that. With task one, and think of yourselves in groups of 5 by now. Each group of 5 in this room one group working on 3 cross-regional innovative projects. You got a bit of criteria there, and these are projects that can be conducted across the region. You come up with them, you imagine them in this space, here and now. The second group could be working on what networks or partnerships that would connect Caribbean museums, and that's very much about human resource communication, how you connect with each other. And then the final one is the third task is more technology focused. What kind of platforms, and people were talking about them. I was in the room this morning when we heard descriptions of platforms that already exist. So, you have a sense of where we're going. 3 groups. One group doing task 1, another group doing task 2, and another doing task 3. You don't have to write them up. You are museums, you're creative, you're innovative. You can draw, you can sketch, you can give names. I even asked to give names in places. And what I'd like us to do to set us up for doing this, oopsie, going the wrong way as usual. Wrong way again. I want to go, I'm off piece completely. Could you put me back in? Okay, good. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's really helpful. Okay. We want to start here. This is where I get bossy, okay? Now, forgive me, just 10 minutes or 5 minutes. What I'd like us to do is to kind of get up and start moving around. Interact with anyone that you haven't interacted with. Walk up to them, shake their hand, say who you are, say where you're from, and then move to the next person. Meet as many people as you can. Meet as many people as you can. And switch. New person, and switch. Okay, and okay, let's get moving again. Meet as many people as you can. Move on. Meet as many people as you can. Thank you. Let's. Excellent. Rosie. Okay. Okay, one more switch, please. Freeze, freeze, please. Right, one more switch. One more switch. Ex- Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final switch. One more. The one person you haven't met. One more. Last switch. Oh God. 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, folks, thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. It works. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant. Brilliant. Nice. Well done. Okay, now we are ready. We have task 1. Co-create 3 cross-regional innovative projects. These projects will harness your collective strengths and cultural narratives while addressing sustainability and funding challenges in the museum. What radical ideas can you explore that push boundaries? Use images and drawing or artwork to communicate your individual and collective vision of these projects. So can we have 5 volunteers for task 1, please? 1. One, one, two, two, three. Okay. Any more? Four. Okay. Could you four of you sit together, please? Just by chance. Yeah? Yeah, could you sit? I need five. I need one more. Okay. So task one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anybody else want to join to make 5? Okay. Okay. Second one, what can we collaboratively design that works like a network of partnerships that not only connects Caribbean museums, but also transcends regional borders by fostering a vibrant cultural ecosystem? What is the name of your network? Create an image of your network and describe 3 tasks or roles for your network. Volunteers for task 2, please. 1. Thank you. 2. Thank you. 3. 4. 5. 5. Going. Could you sit together, please? Thanks. Last one. We'll just do another one. Okay, final one. Imagine a connected future where knowledge, resources, and stories flow freely between institutions and communities. Design a prototype of a platform that will facilitate ongoing engagement and collaboration across multiple sectors, communities, and generations. Give your platform a name. How will you ensure that the relationships are inclusive and empower marginalized voices? Task 3, volunteers, please. 1, 2, thank you. 3, thank you. 4, okay, could you sit together, please? There's one more. Yeah, we can go one more. Okay. Sit fine, as long as you're together. As long as you're together and you know what your task is. As long as you're together and you know what your task is. Those are the 2 things. Okay, how many people do we have left? We have 3 groups. Do we have anybody who's not in a group? You're going to join them. Okay. We good? Okay. There you go. Where's task 2? Task 2? Who's 2? Task 2? 2 is over there? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Before you get into your, everybody's in a group now? Okay. Before you dive into your task, I'm going to be Miss Bossy Boots again, just for 1 second. Last time I boss you, I promise. I said 100 times a day. Yeah. What works well with this activity? If before you get into discussion as a group, grab a pad or a Post-it note, and each person in each group write down as many ideas as you can. Brainstorm. Nothing is off limits. Whatever you imagine, and then you bring those ideas to the group. That way you're kind of funding, as John Dewey would say, you are funding your activity with your experience. So grab a pad, each person, look at your task. Okay. Grab a pad, look at your task for your group, and each person in the group just brainstorm. As far-fetched, as crazy, as wishful, as suppose we had all the resources in the world. So on your own, just brainstorm on your own, each person in the group, on your own, spend about 2 minutes just brainstorming. Okay, you should be coming together as a group to work now to tackle the task. Okay, folks, how do we want to do the sharing? I want to be as non-disruptive as possible. In other words, people don't have to get up and move. And how do we want to do the sharing? The goal at this point is to simply listen in to each group. with no interpretation, no comments, no feedback, just listen in, because we're going to ask how does each presentation, or did each presentation resonate with you? So we're asking you to put your listening hat on and listen to each other, because we're going to be exploring resonance and urgency, okay? So you kind of have a sense of what's coming up. So how do we want to do this in terms of the logistics? Do people want to stay where they are and just share from there? And people just, brilliant. Thank you, that's what I hope you do. Okay. Pardon? Yes, of course. I'm going to hand this over. Which group wants to go first, please? Brilliant.
Okay. Good afternoon. Let me just.
I'll be the
Yeah.
stand word.
Okay. All right. Let's stand here. So everybody. Okay. So we had task 2, which is to collectively design a network and an image to describe that network. So building on the presentation from the Dutch Caribbean, which is what is something name again?
The Colonial Collections Consortium.
The Colonial Collections Consortium, forgive me. We were thinking that it would be really awesome to have a collections platform called Navel String. Navel String tied to the notion that when children were born historically before universal healthcare access, that the umbilical cord was cut and buried in the ground. And in some cases, they would plant a tree to commemorate the burying of the navel string. And so in the English Caribbean, the phrase is, my navel string buried here. My navel string is buried here, to signify a rootedness and a longevity and connection to space. When we went around the group, we realized that were variations of the very same practice, right? And our colleague from Panama, remember your name, Adriana, right? Said that there's an indigenous culture that today still practices it, which is that they would cut the navel string, the umbilical cord, navel string, and bury it, right? And plant a tree, right? And there's actually been a resurgence of the practice, definitely in Jamaica, right? So we believed that naming this platform Navel String becomes the foundation of shared knowledge and connection. And the shared knowledge is that even though we are separated by colonial and imperial and post-colonial structures, that our legacies are connected by the fact that the Caribbean was actually a space of free movement at one point, despite enslavement. And so the goal would be that individual spaces would upload their collections to the shared database to identify similarities between each collection in different spaces. And we conceptualized it as being identifying shared knowledge characteristics, but transcending time, pre-Columbian, enslavement, colonial, post-colonial. But we're not only interested, technically, in, as we imagine this rather, we're not only interested in the similarities, but also the things that make us unique, because we are also evolving over time. So another variation of navel string was, where's your grandmother? Which is, yes, right. So which is another way of saying who links you to this space, who grounds you to this space, and so on. Okay, so what we envision, dream of, for practicality, is capacity building. And capacity building could be different spaces contributing different things, but we're thinking of things like digitization, right? And we know what the practicalities are for digitization if we're thinking about risk assessments and disasters and the impacts of hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes that's happening in the region, conservation, shared approaches to conservation. More and more of us believe that northern positions on conservation do not properly apply in the Caribbean. Metadata, which is an important part of documentation and building collections, right? And it facilitates content creation. Interregional research. One of the visions is access to, I'm going to use the word imperial, but I'm trained as a historian, imperial archives, right? Specifically because of changing ownership between European nations and the Caribbean. It means that at different points in time, different islands had different colonizers, but because the collection is in Old French or Old Spanish or in Dutch, then it means that you can't access it. The countries that don't read it, don't speak it, don't even understand what's happening, you can't actually access that archive unless it's collaborative work across barriers. So the goal is, hopefully, it generates interregional research, potentially international research, thereby increasing access to documents and archives, right? Open access database, translations, which would be the only way we could function in the region across the languages. And then we'd have dissemination to the public, so public education programs, but more importantly, within the consortium, the Navel String Consortium, we would, because the Navel String Consortium, we would also have shared knowledge within our space, specifically because the act of breaking down contemporary imperial structures masked as globalization, that we need to be able to meet and speak with each other across language and political barriers. And here endeth my presentation. I would like to thank my team. They were brilliant.
I got one. Hi. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to be listening to each other, continue listening to each other for resonance and urgency. Resonance, how did it land on me, my work, where I am? Urgency, whew, we gotta get this done quickly. Okay? Thanks.
Oh, I got one. Hi, everybody. My name is Anna. Our task was to imagine a connected future where knowledge, resources, and stories flow between institutions and communities, and to design a prototype of a platform that would facilitate the engagement and collaboration across multiple sectors, communities, and generations. So we all had a lot of Post-its with really great and creative ideas, and mapping it out, it turned out into Museopedia. So, yes, it's an open source website and app, or depending on how far in the future, a chip inside our brain. But those are details that we can discuss later. Mainly, the two things is that it is in all languages, and it's made accessible through, it's written but accessible language. And the two factors of Museopedia are services and knowledge. So on the one hand, we have services, and we have, for instance, curatorial services, or research services, or programming services, or policy-making services, project matchmaking, etc., training, capacity building. So this area is to provide services, so if you're offering the services, or to search for those services, should you need them, learn from experiences that have been shared, or share your own experiences, to ask for that experience or service. And project matchmaking specifically is between institutions, communities, peoples, regions, location. You match a need with an offer, a demand, offer and demand sort of thing. Whereas knowledge is more to use, share, and consume, and it would have academic articles made accessible with word search and definitions, videos, blogs, oral history and testimonies, recipes, music, films, books, art, documents, digital collections, you name it. Both of these would be then separated by either continent, well, you could zoom in on the search, continent or region or country or community or even neighborhood, if you wanted to zoom in enough. And something we wanted to add was AI search, so that you would get similar content, or even something that we thought about was in academic articles or research, counter arguments to the research that you're making, so you have a wider and more complete, thank you, offer of what you're seeking, and not only a confirmation bias-based result. And aside from all of that, you'd have a forum, which is the social aspect and the engagement aspect of it, where you can both share, you can ask, you can recommend, you can post, etc., but look for the engagement across everywhere in the world. So that's Museopedia.
No worries, you can keep it. Yes, can everybody see it, or should we go more here? Yeah. Is it here better? Can everybody see it? Okay, nice. Good morning, afternoon. My name is Wendelin Peter.
I'm Katia Cruz.
Okay, so we had the first task to co-create 3 cross-regional innovative projects. I will not be repeating that we are creating cross-regional projects, but all these teams that we wrote down, these are the teams to get to the projects, okay? We had different ideas in the group, and we just brainstormed and put like the majority of the teams here. The first one that we highlighted is the exchange program, academically and professionally, between institutions. The second one, collaborative cohorts, curatorial, and especially with a focus on research. So a lot of times we have on a specific island a lot of material, a lot of, let's say you might even have a database, etc. And then another country has kind of similar, but we don't know what we have, okay? So a project to get to there. Cultural tourism. We speak in the Caribbean a lot about tourism already, but what we see or notice is that when we think of tourism, we think a lot of times of like the beach, you know, the sun, etc. But there is a lot of tourists who are interested in our culture, and I think we underestimate that. If I can give a small example on Curaçao, a group of Brazilians last year contacted our museum, which is one of the smallest, we have one of the smallest museums on the island. And they contacted us, asked us for an itinerary for a few days, I think for a week. So we made the itinerary for them. And we put a lot of beach on it, because like we have beach, you know, and we are famous for the beach. So, and then they contacted us back like, no, we want to know about your culture. We want to visit your museum and put other museum, like similar museum with similar, like about historic person, the culture, etc. Maybe you can put, they are telling us, maybe you can put like 1 day of beach, but that's enough, you know? And we don't want to eat at like fancy restaurants. We want to eat the local food that local people prepared. So if it's at a restaurant, it should be local food. So that make you think like, oh yeah, You know, people are interested in your culture. You know it, but you kind of put like the beach first. So, and they came for that. They came for the culture. They did a fully different trip, but that was their interest. And I think we should pay more attention to that and focus on that more. So that's just like a real example of what happened on the island. Succession planning and education-focused program or project, and MAC continuity. So I'm new to MAC. I don't know about a lot of things that MAC is doing. I'm reading a lot about it. I saw a lot online. Our organization is just recently, we signed a MOU with MAC, so I have to still experience, or I'm experiencing MAC now. But we were thinking here of programs throughout the year after the MAC conference. So not just meet up once a year or once in 2 years, but really online programs, maybe in-person programs to continue with what we are creating now, okay? And how to get to these projects, yeah.
Okay, so briefly, I'm gonna describe like the second part of our discussion, which was with very specific like answers that we generalized to make it easier in ways that we sustain and address funding challenges, okay? So we have invite sponsors to and for the MAC conference so they can see all the ideas that are cooking, that we're all cooking up here in collaboration and individually, ways we're inspiring each other, and what we are looking to solve or think about in the future in our museums, in our countries that are very important to all of us, so that they can see the drive and motivation that we have within the arts. We have database expertise. This was brought to us in ways that we know who is here more than, oh, she's from this museum, the other one, but oh, she specializes in community. She's actually an artist who does this and that. So we know who is here and how we can connect, okay? Then we have research, which goes back to the first presentation, was knowing what we have in our museums, in our archives, in our databases that we can parallel with, compare, contrast. And then Museum Trans-Caribbean program, I thought it would be very nice to have, for example, an oral history project that is happening at the same time in various islands of the Caribbean by the same age group. For example, kids interviewing their the elders, yeah, that's the word, elders, and then sharing that in one unified exhibition that travels through islands, something like that. So make it trans and inter-Caribbean and challenge that notion that water actually unites and not separate. So yeah, am I missing something from the group? I think that's it, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, normally there'll be a lot of discussion now and questions and elaboration. But before we go to that, let's try to get a sense of how we're responding to what we're hearing. And we don't have time, so it's going to be one of these quick and not so clean approaches to kind of gaining consensus. We are going to distribute some cards with dots, and thank you. We're going to ask you, each person, to make sure you have one red dot, one blue dot, and one green dot. Okay, think of a traffic light. Think of a traffic light. Sorry, no, blue. You don't have blue on the traffic lights, no. Let me take you to. Just a minute. There you go. Red, green, blue. One red, one green, one blue. Per person. So each person should have 3, one in each color. There you go. See the colors are up there? You got the idea? Hang on, hang on. Spend a moment, or at least a minute, calmly, quietly, thinking about everything you heard, everything you listened to. Based on what you heard, try to think about what did you hear that we must do now, immediately. Urgency. That's how you'll spend your red dot. You will go to that poster, you will find that thing, and you'll spend your red dot, you only have one, by putting it next to that thing. What do you think we can or should think about this? Good idea, but there's no urgency, but it's good, it'll happen. And then the third one is, this is good, but we'll have to think about this for a very long time and deliberate and wonder. So you get a sense of where we're going here, okay? Now, I don't like rules, because I tend to break them. So I don't like to give rules. I would suggest that one will not kind of put red on one's own presentation. I would suggest. I wouldn't create a rule. I would suggest that one try to think evenly across all the presentations. But if what you've presented is urgent from your perspective, that's why I don't like rules. Okay, we good to go? Okay, let's do this. We're gonna have lunch on time. You want to line up? Okay, suggestion that you line them up so it's easier. Much of a suggestion come from you. Yeah. Spend your dots wisely. You only have 3. Red, urgent. We got to do this now. We got to. Urgent, urgent. Green, we can and we should do this. Yeah. Blue, well, the sky is blue. Spend your dots carefully. No, you don't get any more dots. You only get those 3. Yeah. If that's how you want to spend your dot, you go in and spend it there. Right? Because that section might be more important than a whole outline to you. Oh, I've done it with too many dots. It's a nightmare. You only have 3 dots. Spend them wisely. No supplementals. If we can sit around or stand around in a circle, it would be really helpful so that we could hear or listen to each other. Once you've spent your dots, boy. Some folks are frugal, some folks are extravagant, just the way of the world. Okay, I'm looking at the time. Okay. You shifted? Your 3 dots. Wish you had more.
Used to save our pennies,
Okay, I don't think we have enough time to put chairs to sit around. Okay, if we could just stand around what we've done and look at it. Just stand around, have a look at it. It's not a competition. It's about urgency. It's not what's better, best, second, first. Urgency. Urgency.
It's interesting how within one thing,
Mhm.
certain areas were
And the purpose of this is we're going to have transcripts, and this is going to help us as we process the transcripts. So it's not like you're gambling or there's a winner somewhere. It just helps to process what we've done without a long conversation. Okay, so can we, as we go to close, just stand around and invite maybe 2 or 3 comments? What do you notice as you look down? Just 2 or 3 comments, please. Mhm.
There isn't a consensus of what is urgent.
Okay.
Well,
There's no first past the post. Thanks.
I think these 2 plans,
Mhm.
the 2 plans on the end are sort of,
Mhm.
they seem to be, have the sense of urgency most, right?
Mhm.
But I think it's sort of, in the long run, the third, I don't know which group this was, but it will all come into play. It's just a matter of sort of the timing of it all. So we start
Okay.
with the digitization, create that story. So we start with the digitization, the realization, the education and knowledge building of our shared story, and then we sort of go into this group, which is the promotion of cultural tourism, the succession planning, and all of that. So I think it'll all happen. It's just the timing of which needs to happen first.
So I hear it's about sequencing. Oh, priority and sequencing. Thanks.
I'm going to kind of echo that because I started by saying that I don't agree. There is a consensus. The consensus is there needs to be a clearinghouse of information from which one then looks at individual projects to build out. So clearly there's a need for a database, no matter what it is, that we can access to provide both information and education, and then from there utilize it to deal with some of the ever more important issues, whether it's looking at digitization or digital processing or project matchmaking, because there are then shared similarities or commonalities across the entire spectrum. So what we're really saying is there's need, and there's urgent need, for that informational platform that we can all access, which then allows us to decide what are those particular priorities. And I'm going to single out Remy because it started with his presentation this morning.
Nice. Wow, I feel as if the magnitude of the work that MAC does is not known, and there's urgency to be in the press. I think there has to be a way to do it. I don't know what, but we need to be in the press in the US, in Puerto Rico, in all of the islands, but I don't know, there's got to be an effort of media, like contacting media and making big articles to show the magnitude of MAC, because we have most of the puzzle pieces. Hello, we're not never gonna run out of what we all know needs to be happening, but this needs to be known to really take it to the next level. Otherwise, we're gonna be years and years trying to do amazing things, and they're always gonna be amazing, but the world needs to know this. And I think when we reach that barrier of media, we're gonna get a lot of more attention, and then we can get a lot of more funding, and then we can really accelerate and not wait to do this. I'm already in Panama, and I'm gonna teach my program in 2 local museums. You know, I didn't have to wait till the exchange program. I said, I'm going, so I'm gonna maximize my time. So I'm gonna go Museo del Canal on Tuesday and Fundación Los Carbonell to teach my program to 50 kids and another 25. To start already sharing things, and I want her to come to Puerto Rico next time. So there's so much we already can be doing, taking our own initiatives, but this has to be told big time in the media.
So I'm hearing communication, I'm
Visibilizations,
hearing a
the
narrative,
communications plan.
and I'm
Ahí
hearing
que
a
está.
narrative that feeds
I think
into
the urgency to
identity.
me.
Because that's what I'm hearing, identity formation. And yeah. How do you present to the world? How do you show up in the world telling that narrative? I'm saying that for the note taker. Yeah.
Just to add on, communication plan is super important, but also having the right people in the right place, because this is the first time I'm here at MAC, and this is the first time we're bringing a whole crew, and I'm from the government, and I can say, oh, now I get it. So having the right people in the right place, that will make a lot of more sense.
Sorry, I wanted to add really short that I really love the idea. I think it's also our responsibility, not just MAC, when we go back home regarding the media, okay? Because they can't do it alone, so we need to do that part.
Okay, we have 2 more minutes before we close. Could we hear from someone who hasn't said anything, or a voice that hasn't been heard? Because some people come forward, some people step back. So people who tend to step back, come forward now.
I just want to say that in our group, we felt the need to try to eliminate the feeling of isolation, and it has not come up in any of these. So I'm breaking the rule because I do that too, and then ask for forgiveness. Because this is my 5th MAC conference. However, I see it every time. This country, in our group, our Haitians, our French-speaking colleague felt isolated because she couldn't understand. And we have been purposefully isolated in the Caribbean by colonialism. It didn't just happen. It happened by design. And so now we're all here. How is it that we address it? How is it that we make her in this particular situation feel included? And I'm not sure what the answer is, but I think that many of these things can deal with it, but it has to be a purposeful decision in making sure that that happens. Geography is not the only problem.
Yeah.
Language is a problem as well.
Translation. Okay.
Okay, so Rosie, I actually feel a little different about that, right? So, but I'm saying this not really having feedback from the 2 French speakers, right? So prior to this, is yourself talking? You don't count. Oh, who's the 3rd person? Who's the third person? All right, I'm sorry. Let me ignore that statement. I had a English Caribbean moment, at a Jamaican moment. Ignore it. Okay, but what I wanted to say is that previously, because we did the translation, interpretation in 3 languages, at least we had a solution that did not require a bilingual person running among the 3 groups. What that tells us is that, and this is something that we've been working through at MAC, you cannot challenge linguistic barriers without funding for simultaneous interpretation.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. And to be inclusive and to be accessible means that we need to have a budget for translation, not just the interpretation, but for the translation, right? And for me especially, I acknowledge that because the English Caribbean is just monolingual unnecessarily,
Yep.
that we are not the people, right? We actually need to become more open, but that's the only way you're gonna challenge it is if you say, remember there are non-English speakers in this group, talk slowly so the interpreter can hear and translate. Try not to speak over each other. Speak slower. That's the etiquette for functioning in a multilingual space. But it also requires us to grow and learn with it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, can I come through,
Yes.
please? I'm seeing a time is up sign, right? I don't want to close the conversation down. It could continue after we all say thank you to each other for this wonderful session. I don't want to close out. I don't want to close out without a profound apology for only being able to speak one language. How did that happen when I grew up in an island that changed hands the most in the entire Caribbean, next to St. Lucia, right up there? How did that happen? Yeah, how? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I grew up in Tobago. And this is something that needs to be remediated
And you say
sooner
just changed
rather
22
than
times.
later. Thank you very much.
Yeah.